I have Clarence Kennedy here
Yeah.
giving. Is this your first interview?
I've done a few, but not like one like this where it's long, I guess. Yeah, yeah.
So first of all, when I first heard about you, it was people complaining because my YouTube channel used to be called The World's Strongest Vegan, and I met some people in Ireland. They were like, "Clarence is way stronger than you. You shouldn't call yourself that." And I thought, "Whoa, who is this guy? Let me check out." Because before that, I
Yeah.
didn't know you.
I think it's because Omar Isaf. Like,
Uh-huh.
I visited Omar in Toronto,
Yeah,
and we made like a full day of vegan eating,
yeah.
and he titled the video "World's Strongest Vegan Full Day Eating," and I didn't agree with that title. I didn't want to like stir up some controversy, so I told him not to use that title. But he's like, "Oh, it's good for views, so I'm going to use it." But whatever.
No, I think it's
Yeah.
cool, and you
Yeah.
definitely are crazy strong. And right now, you definitely are stronger than I am because I'm
Retired.
retired.
Yeah,
And also I didn't care. I was just interested in who the guy is.
Yeah,
So I looked
yeah.
you up, and then I was, holy shit, that guy is strong. Okay, so I got interested, and then I checked you out and saw all like your heavy deadlifts and all that stuff. So I thought, well, this guy is a weightlifter, but at the same time he's a really good power lifter. And then I saw you tricking, and I was like, "Holy shit! This guy can do everything." So, can you tell me a little bit about how you started with tricking and how that is connected to your weightlifting and so on?
Yeah, so I guess when I grew up, I was always like a crazy kid that just pretended to be like a ninja in my like backyard and everything. And then it was when I was 12 that I discovered parkour, and yeah, I got into that just from like YouTube videos and everything. And I used to just practice it outside my house and everything. And then later on, I got into tricking from that sport because a lot of people that did parkour did tricking. And when I was tricking, I wanted to like improve my like power and like vertical jump. And I heard that weightlifting was great for that. So then I got into weightlifting, and then I just realized, holy shit, I'm actually good at this, and I got hooked to it. And then I decided to just quit parkour and tricking and just focus on weightlifting.
At which point did the powerlifting come into the?
I never did powerlifting. It was
Yeah, but you trained for it.
no, I never really trained for powerlifting.
You
could-
just casually do 340 kilo deadlifts.
340 kilos deadlifts. Yeah,
That's
yeah, because
awesome.
like in weightlifting you have to like train like with clean pulls and snatch pulls and everything, and you do a load of squats. So there is like a bunch of like accessories in weightlifting that are like strength exercises, like pure strength exercises, like deadlift and stuff like that. The only exercise in powerlifting that I kind of focused on was a bench press. There was a period of time where I was like benching 4 times a week, and I did that for a couple of months, and I brought my bench up to 202 kilos.
Wow.
No, I would never say I like focused on powerlifting. It's always been weightlifting. Maybe like a brief period in my career I did focus on powerlifting, but no, it's mainly just been weightlifting, snatch, a clean jerk. And that kind of annoys me because like I see like a lot of people, they meet me in person and they're like, "Oh, you're that crazy guy on YouTube that like squats a lot and deadlifts a lot." And it's like, that's not even what I focus on. It's like the snatch, clean jerk. I guess like a lot of people, they don't understand like the snatch, clean jerk. They think it's just all technique, but like it requires like pretty much everything, like strength, coordination, mobility, speed, everything.
I'm actually
Yeah.
one of those people. That's why I was really interested in asking you those questions. So you would say, would you say that you need to, for instance, train the deadlift to be good at, what you do for weightlifting? Is it kind of part of the training for weightlifting, or would you say that it can actually be detrimental? Like if you do
Yeah.
too much in terms of the powerlifting movements, can that
Yeah.
actually be in the way as a weightlifter?
Well, the thing about the deadlift, once you start going heavy in the deadlift, your upper back starts rounding, and that's not a good thing for like the snatch and clean and jerk. So going heavy in the deadlift is not really beneficial for like weightlifting, but like working with the like lower percentages, yeah, it is a strength exercise that is useful. The bench press, totally useless in my opinion in weightlifting. It actually has like pretty much messed up my clean and jerk in the past, and it messes up like my mobility and everything. So I don't think the bench press is a necessary exercise. Like a better exercise would be like a push press or a strict press.
Why do you think that is? Is that probably because your chest grows when you get stronger at the bench press, obviously? So do you think it's a volume issue that your muscles are actually in the way of
Yeah,
being fast enough?
yeah. Like people laugh at me all the time when I say that like my arms got too big when I like did bench press a lot. And like it's totally true because it totally destroyed my rack position in the clean. Like when I do a clean, I hold on to the hook grip, which requires like a lot of mobility. Most people let go of the hook grip, and I'm not used to that. I've been like doing weightlifting for over 10 years now, and I like learned the clean by holding on to the hook grip. So for me to change my technique to like an open hand would take a long time to learn. So yeah, like strength exercises like high rep strict press and like high rep bench press. It's probably useful like in the off-season weightlifting, like far away from competition. But like when you're peaking, it's definitely not useful, and it's definitely like a detriment. Like you need to be fast in weightlifting.
So, so what you're saying is just basically that you can do these powerlifting movements, but you always have to acknowledge that the weightlifting is your focus, and you don't kind of
Yeah, pretty much.
sideways.
That's the case with like anything. You can't do like two sports at the same time. Like many people think that I do like tricking, powerlifting, and weightlifting all at the same time, but that's not true. I pretty much quit tricking when I was like 16, 17 years old, and I've been just able to like maintain it. And with powerlifting, yeah, like my deadlift and squat is good, but that's just because I'm doing weightlifting. And you could say the same thing about like my physique. I don't do bodybuilding, but it's pretty decent for like compared to the average person. But that's not something I focus on. It's just as a result of weightlifting training.
Yeah, I think that would be one of the things that when you would try to get bigger in certain areas, that would actually be completely in the way as a weightlifter. And that's also what you see when you see impressive weightlifters in at the Olympics or in World Championships. They don't look like bodybuilders or even powerlifters. They just have a very specific physique that is made for what they do.
Of course, yeah.
You're also a vegan.
Yeah.
And you don't really talk a lot about that, but how long are you vegan? 4 years?
Probably like 4.5 years at this point.
4.5 years. What was the reason for you to try a plant-based nutrition?
Yeah, so it actually had nothing to do with weightlifting. I just seen how like logical the arguments for veganism are, and that's what made me turn vegan. It wasn't because like I thought the vegan diet was superior over like a meat-based diet or a vegetarian diet for performance. It was literally just because of the ethical arguments for veganism. Pretty much, that's pretty much the only reason I'm vegan. Like, if it was the case that a vegan diet would like decrease my performance, or if it was worse for like weightlifting, I'd still turn vegan because the arguments are just so strong. There was a time when I was watching like a lot of vegan content on YouTube, and it made a lot of sense to me, and I was kind of annoyed by it because I was eating meat, and I was basically trying to find like an argument against veganism.
Yeah.
And I literally couldn't find any argument. I couldn't think of any argument. So I felt just so stupid that I was eating meat. So I decided, okay, fuck, I need to turn vegan right now.
That speaks for your being someone who reflects on themselves, because I mean most people would just get defensive and would just, even without having an argument, would still try to stick to where they are and defend that somehow. But I think if you're a smart person, you're gonna just, if you see there's a position that is more logical than your own, you can just basically progress into that. So what actually were your experiences? Because if you did it on the basis of ethics, you're not expecting anything good to happen. So what would you say? Were you surprised by the effect that it actually had, or did it basically just have the effect that you expected? How was it?
For me, honestly, there was no difference really in terms of performance. Like I didn't do it for that reason at all. I didn't really care what would happen to my like weightlifting performance or anything. I mainly just did it for ethics, but yeah, like I was able to get stronger. Like my personal records have gone up since I've turned vegan.
Now you don't really you don't talk about this part of you a lot, but still the athletes that know you personally they're going to know that you eat that way, right? So
Yeah.
did you ever have any reactions by fellow, weightlifters or fellow athletes in terms of them questioning it or being interested in it? Would you say, like, is that even a topic, or is that something that you don't really talk about at all?
I try not to talk about it, honestly, because I know people are going to get like very defensive about it. I never like challenge any people, I guess. But I do think that, like, just for ethical reasons alone, like, the whole world should be vegan. I don't think performance or like sports even matter that much. There's far more important things that are happening in the world right now, and I think everyone needs to turn vegan.
So you're still pretty young. You're 26.
26. Yeah.
26, and you have already tried quite a few sports. And do you have any plans for the future in terms of trying new things, or in terms of competitions or anything?
Definitely. So, like, the thing of weightlifting is speed is a big component, and mobility. And speed usually decreases like as you approach your 30s. So I know for a fact, like, as I get older, once I'm like 28 to 30 years old, like, I'm gonna start noticing that I'm slowing down, like, in weightlifting. So I think around then is a good time to like transition to powerlifting, because like your strength doesn't really decrease at that age. Like, you made most of your world records at what age, 35 or something?
Yeah, mid-30s.
Mid 30s, and like a lot of powerlifters, they're in their prime and like sometimes even their 40s or mid 40s. So strength stays as you get older. So I will definitely transition to powerlifting when I'm like 30 years old or something. Yeah. So right now, I'm at my peak in weightlifting. I think I actually feel the fastest I've ever felt. Actually, the last time I was here in Berlin, which was it 2.5 weeks ago, I actually hit an all-time snatch PR of 192 kilos, and I also cleaned 232 kilos. So yeah, those are big lifts for me. Whether I can actually like go above those lifts, I don't know. I'm definitely like approaching my limit, but I do think I have like the genetics to snatch like 200 kilos and clean jerk something big once I fix my jerk technique, which was terrible, as you've seen yesterday.
Yeah, well, to me it all looks like black magic, but because obviously we train together, and you see that I can't move at all. I'm just trying to muscle up everything, and then obviously
it was the same for like me watching you do strongman. It was just like, what the hell is going on here? Like, especially the yoke walk, when you picked that up for the first time, just like sprinted with it. I was like, what the hell is going on?
Yeah.
I guess another reason like I want to try powerlifting in the future is because like for business reasons. Like, I think it'd be better for like my social media, because the majority of people that follow me are actually not weightlifters. I've noticed. I would say like probably 30 to 40% of people that follow me are actually weightlifters, and the rest are like bodybuilders and powerlifters. So I would get more views if I like just posted powerlifting videos, and I think the general public, they understand the powerlifts like a lot more compared to like the snatch or clean jerk. Like, when I tell people like my best snatch is like 192, they're like, oh, that's like technique, is it? Like, what do you bench? And then I'm like, oh, 200 kilos, and they're like, holy shit, that's impressive. Where like with the bench press, I just trained bench press for like a couple of months and managed to like get 200 kilos, and then I trained fucking 10 years of my life to get like 192 in the snatch, and they're just like, oh, it's all technique. So
it's definitely more accessible, because people can try it themselves, and then everyone does bench, so they know what it means if you do a 200. Whereas the Olympic weightlifting movements, most people just don't really understand.
But like, the main reason I'm still doing weightlifting now is because I think it's better, honestly. I think it's just more impressive to watch. It feels better to do. It's like fast and explosive. It's just, to me, it's just more interesting to watch like a weightlifting competition compared to like a powerlifting competition. Like, don't get me wrong, like, I like powerlifting and it's a cool sport, but I do think weightlifting just looks a lot better. And I don't like in powerlifting the fact that you can make the lifts as easy as possible, like by, I'm gonna get a lot of shit for this, but like by sumo deadlifting, by arching your back massively in the bench press, low bar squatting to like 90 degrees. Like, an argument people make all the time is like, oh, but like that's what they do in competition, so that's what you need to do in training. Like, I don't really care. Like, to me, like, I do weightlifting because it looks like more aesthetic compared to powerlifting. And like, even my training, when I do like a deadlift, I don't do sumo deadlifts. I do conventional deadlifts. When I do bench press, I don't arch my back massively. And the main reason I do that is because it fucking looks better.
It's just not impressive to yourself, so you don't see it as anything you want to.
But then again, like in the future, I might start doing like low bar squats and wide grip bench press and all that, just to see what I can get.
And do you? So you also do a lot of coaching besides what you do on YouTube?
Yeah, I do online coaching at the moment. I also make YouTube videos and make money off that. I have a Patreon. Sell t-shirts, sell programs, so that's basically what I'm doing as a job right now. Yeah.
Do you have any plans in terms of that? Are you going to like stick to what you do right now for the future, or do you have any like kind of vision where you want to go towards in that too?
Like basically my goal at the moment is kind of different from like the general population. Like people in my position, they would try to make like a load of money. They'll go around the world and do seminars. But for me, all I want to do is just I just want to enjoy life and have like a lot of free time. So basically my goal at the moment is to make a decent amount of money with like a very low amount of effort. So I'm going to try to like do that for as long as possible.
So another thing that I saw is that you're just basically trying to hold your body weight in a certain space. So so my first question would be how gaining weight or losing weight, how that would affect the mechanics of weightlifting, if that's something that like for instance what I do, the heavier you are the better. Does that go for what you do too, or not? And then how you actually achieve what you're trying to achieve with your plant-based diet, how exactly you do it?
Yeah, so that's something I realized probably like a year and a half ago, that like being at like a lower body weight, like around like 97 to 100 kilos is actually better for weightlifting compared to me being above like 106 kilos. Like a couple of years back, my goal was like, I just need to get as strong as possible. I need to bring my squats and deadlifts up, and then obviously I need to like practice the snatch, clean, jerk a bit, and they'll go up as well because my strength levels will be going up. But the thing that happened is like my speed decreased at like a heavier body weight. My mobility got worse. Even though my strength went up, like in the squat and the deadlift and bench press, like my lifts actually went down, especially in the clean and jerk, because like I had so much like muscle mass around my arms that I couldn't rack the bar. So like recently, I've been just trying to stay at like a lower body weight, and it's funny that my lifts have actually gone up despite my like strength levels going down. Like my Olympic lifts are the best they have ever been at the moment, just because I discovered that like my best body weight is like around like 97 to 100 kilos.
So how do you control the body weight to just stay there, and how basically overall how do you eat as a vegan athlete?
Well, like when I first turned vegan, I did use like apps like MyFitnessPal and Chronometer, just to track my like micronutrients and macronutrients, just to make sure I was getting enough, because I didn't have enough knowledge about the vegan diet. And I do recommend everyone do that at the start, because a lot of vegans, like new vegans, make the mistake of not getting enough micronutrients. So I did that at the start, but then after a while, I kind of just learned, like what's in foods, and like basically right now I can like look at a meal and just estimate like how many like calories are in it, how much protein, how much carbs are in it. So I don't track anything at the moment. So
do you know
I know when I'm overeating. Like if I need to like gain weight, I'll just like eat more basically. If I need to lose weight, then I would just do a bit more cardio, I guess, and just decrease the amount of calories. Like it's that simple, really.
What would be the amount of protein that you try to hit on a day?
Yeah, so many people are surprised by this, but I don't get a lot of protein, and probably around like 140 to 170 grams of protein per day.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's really surprising.
Yeah.
I get double that.
Double that, yeah. I seem to be doing fine with that protein intake, so I don't see the reason to increase it.
We talked about nutrition. What about supplements? Do you do any supplements in terms of the usual suspects, like, I don't know, creatine and stuff like that?
Actually, the only thing I'm taking at the moment is creatine. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I get like all my micronutrients from my diet. Like I eat like fortified foods. Like soy milk is a good example. Like soy milk contains vitamin D, B12, and calcium, and like fortified cereals, they contain like a bunch of micronutrients that you'd find difficult to obtain on a vegan diet. I do think it's necessary for vegans to take creatine because they don't get any in their diet. I think I came across like a study that showed that like vegans and vegetarians actually benefit from creatine supplementation way more than meat eaters. You know? So it's definitely necessary as a vegan, if you're a vegan athlete, to take creatine. And I think there's some cognitive benefits as well from taking creatine.
Yeah. So we talked a lot about how impressed I was about the lifts that I saw online. So can you talk about your PRs, where they are right now in like the weightlifting lifts, and then also in the deadlift, squat, and so on?
Yeah, so there's actually a couple of videos that I didn't upload on my YouTube channel. Just trying to like save videos so I can upload them at a later date. But my all-time best in the snatch is 192 kilos.
Wow.
My best clean and jerk is 222.5 kilos. But I've cleaned 232 kilos. It's just my jerk is like terrible, and I need to fix the technique. I've been trying to fix it for years, but it's just probably the hardest lift for me. My best deadlift, 340 kilos. I also did a 320 for a triple. Definitely want to improve on that in the future. I'd love to get like 800 pounds, which is 363 kilos. My best bench press is 202 kilos. And best pause squat, this is like an astrograph squat with no knee sleeves, belts, or anything, is 310 kilos.
Wow.
Yeah. I also did 265 kilos for 10 reps in the squat.
Holy shit.
I haven't uploaded that video, but yeah, that was a crazy video where I almost died.
Where would you say, in terms of competitions, with your weightlifting lifts, where would you say would you be, like, if you would do a competition and you would be able to translate your PRs from training into competition, where would that put you,
on the world stage, Olympics?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't really compare like my best training lifts to the world records in weightlifting or anything. I actually compare like my best training lifts to the training lifts of like world champions and Olympic champions and everything. And many people at my body weight, well, not many people at my body weight have snatched 200 kilos. So
that's what I thought.
If I snatch 200 kilos in training, like despite what anyone says about like me not competing or whatever, I think that is impressive.
That's where I wanted to get at, because I mean, I'm not really, I don't have a lot of knowledge on where exactly it is, but I know that on your body weight, the lifts that you do are crazy, because like they're not that crazy far away from the heavyweights, and you're still under 100 kilos. So that's like, if I would go for that weight, I would be much less impressive than I am now.
So like, for example, in the current weight classes in weightlifting, because they constantly change. In the 96 kilo category, the world record in the snatch is 185. But the guy that did that, his best in training is 205 kilos. Wow. So it's massively more in training. My best snatch in training is 192. So I think it's unfair for me to compare like that, my lift of 192 to 185, when his best in training is 205 kilos.
But you don't have any incentive or any motivation to like think about competitions, do you?
No, it happened like in 2012. Like I just realized how corrupt sports are in general, and it just turned me off weightlifting entirely. Like I would say at the moment I've like lost a lot of interest in weightlifting just because of all the corruption with drug testing and everything. Like drug testing all around the world is totally unequal. So for example, someone in North Korea, they can't get drug tested out of competition. Like WADA is not going to enter that country and test them. And they're actually dominating in the lower weight categories. The same with like China and like Iran and Georgia. They're just dominating in weightlifting at the moment. Whereas like countries like the US, they get tested like 20 times per year. So how is that fair, you know?
Do you have any experiences with anti-vegans, although you don't really make a lot of noise about that part?
Actually, my latest Q&A video, I did talk about like anti-vegans briefly, and I basically said they have like lower intelligence, and you shouldn't like see them as like the core of like the vegan community, I guess. But yeah, like when I made that video, I got a lot of negative comments. I actually responded to a good few of them on that video, and I might make a video responding to a lot of those arguments. So
is it more that you don't really want to bother with, you know, having to discuss all that with stupid idiots who are just not really kind of motivated to educate themselves, but still want to make an argument? Is that the reason why you don't really talk about?
The main reason I don't like call myself vegan that much on like social media and everything is just because like I've built like my like following just by weightlifting, and I think it would be just wrong to just like convert my channel to like a vegan channel or whatever. Like I do want to talk about it from time to time because I do realize like the influence I have, and like a lot of people have actually messaged me and said they turned vegan because of my videos. So I think that's you know, a positive thing to do. So I should continue making like more vegan content, I guess. But in terms of being like the pushy vegan, I don't think I'd ever make like I don't know, hardcore vegan content on YouTube, I guess.
No, I think you should just stick to what you do right now. It works, and
even me being like passively vegan is good for veganism. Like even me just saying, "Oh, I'm vegan," and you know, I do like heavy lifts. That's just good for veganism, I think.
You don't have to say anything. I'm going to tell everyone that you're vegan, and I'm going to try to piss them off with that. You don't have to do it. Okay, so thank you so much for doing the interview. I feel honored to be the first one that you did one with. I'm looking forward to meeting you again. I'm going to definitely come to Ireland and visit you, and looking forward to more training.
You need to squat though. Come on.
Yeah, we talked about this. I have some issues with one of my legs right now.
But you're going to be squatting when you come to Ireland. So.
Yep, when I come to Ireland, my squat is going to be ready again.
Yeah.
So thank you so much, Clarence.
All right.